Hello and welcome to Micks Mowers and Mower Man. In today's video, it's going to be like a part two, if you like, on that Mountfield 46-inch self-propelled mower I was fixing the other day, where I fixed the throttle cable. This machine is just here it is. Now the throttle cable was actually broke on it, of which I've now since repaired, and it wasn't choking. However, in the last video I repaired the cable, but the machine still decided it wanted a bit more work, please, Mr. Mowers. So now what it does is you choke the machine, pull the dead man in, pull the cord, and that's what's happening. Okay, it won't run continuously. So it needs to go up on the bench for a carburetor clean, which is standard. Now it's had the throttle done, which now works. I'm hoping that once the carburetor is clean, this machine will then run. So hopefully it will do. It's a nice machine. SV200. The mower looks tired and rusty, but it does the job, right? It cuts the grass. So let's get this machine up on a bench and get the carburetor off, get that cleaned, and hopefully this machine will then run off of its own back. If it does so, my wife, Mrs. P's friend Aggie, will be super happy with it because it's her machine, and she can go and cut her grass. So yeah, let's do that. If it's your first time watching Micks Mowers and Mower Man, hit your subscribe button, whack the old bell, set notifications for all. That way you tell us I'm uploading a video. Without further ado, let's get down and dirty. Let's get this SV200 Mountfield lawnmower up on the bench, get the carburetor cleaned, and hopefully we can then get it to run. Right, so one lawnmower, throttle cable now is all working, as you can see here. That's all now moving and choking it as it should do, okay? But literally the machine will not run off its own back. So air filter and air box off, straight into a 10mm. Now this is based off of the Hondas, like the Honda clones these are. Now I'm a big fan of these SV200s, I like them a lot. One of my favourite engines actually. We're going to remove the air box, and maybe a crankcase breather pipe just here, okay, that needs to be removed. Just give it a twist and that'll come off. We've then got two items to remove here, which will be the choke cable, a choke pipe here, and also the fuel, the governor arm and spring assembly. Okay, so we'll remove the spring first. This mower belongs to Mrs. P's friend at work. So she's an NHS girl. Take the spring off and then lift the arm up. That's the governor arm off. Move it out the way. Now the springs on these are a little bit more different, okay, because of a choke. And what you tend to do is just to bend them off. That's what I tend to do. Let me find a set of forceps that's going to work just to stem that fuel flow. Now I dare say that the actual fuel in this machine has actually probably had it. Let's just oh, it's a bit hard there, Mick. Oh my word. A bit softer here, Mick, is it? Yeah. Okay, let's go down here a minute. Let's just stem that fuel off. So that's now locked off, right? I can then remove the little tiny fuel clip and then give that little fuel pipe just a bit of a twist. Now I'm a bit conscious that there's a little tiny bit of residue on that fuel pipe. There it goes. There's a bit of a crack just there. So I'm going to cut that off. There's plenty of pipe there for me to use, but we'll be cutting that off later on before I refit it, okay? That little tiny washer just come off there. That just goes on, let's have a look here. And that goes on that way round. You want to go that hole there. Nope, that way. Like that's how it's sat. So take that off. Now you can start to remove your carburetor, but just push this choke flap forward, okay? Push that choke flap forward, and that'll give you a bit more of a carb. You might have to remove the height control slightly too, just to manipulate this carb off, but you can just pull this bar over, and then just gently remove the carb off of its mounting pins. There's a gasket on behind there, and then just lift and up round goes a carby, and that's how you do that. So that's the carby off. Nice and quick and simple. Let's now get this carburetor taken apart, cleaned up, all that sort of good yummy stuff. I'm going to drain the fuel out anyway because I want to see what type of fuel's in there, and that'll tell us that by the history of what's inside this carb here. So we're not getting no decent fuel supply, so I dare say the fuel is knackered. So let me find my tray, my carburetor cleaning tray, which I have lost over the past. I've just seen it. Get up on a bench here, do a carburetor clean, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so found my carburetor cleaning tray. Just put a bit of blue roll down, just so I can see what actually is going on with regards to what's inside this carb, okay? So I'm going to get my carburetor in now, and I'm just going to tip that onto its side a little tiny bit, and then just undo that bolt at the bottom. All right, tip it up, I'm going to put my finger over the bottom, like so, and then just gently try and tap this carby off, the bolt off. There you go. Gently, there's an O-ring underneath it, so don't break the O-ring. There's the O-ring, it's there, it's just going to stick onto that. Onto that, come on Mr. O-ring, don't break please. Thank you. I'm going to put the O-ring back in its little tiny housing, because obviously it may expand, so just seat that back down. All right, good. Put the car on one side. Now there you go. Now that's the reason why we've got a problem. My carburetor's got COVID, simple as that. I'm going to give it a bit of a clean up. Try not to cover my camera at the same time. And what I'm now going to do, I've now got these. I love these. If you haven't got them, get yourself a set of these. Right, these are great. Now, if I say they're great, it's generally because either they are great or I don't know what I'm talking about. Get yourself a set of these off Amazon. Little tiny stainless steel drill brushes. Right, they go into a drill, and then what you can do, you can then literally just all this rust in the bottom of that bowl, just right down the bottom. They clean up lovely. Now I've been using these for about 2 or 3 weeks, and literally you can get in every single crevice and corner that you wouldn't normally get into with any other sort of designs. And because they're stainless, they don't rust themselves, but you can just clean this bit up here which you can't normally get to, all around the edges. All right, once that's done, give that a quick little spray off with a bit of pocket rocket or whatever it is you're using, carburetor spray or GC85, and then a little tiny rag, a bit of blue roll, give it a wipe. Look how clean it is, look how clean that's got up. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful thing? Right, that's what I use now. There's a bit of ethanol just on the side. I want to get that off in a minute if I can. But there you go, one nice clean carburetor now. Now, what I'm going to do, I say this in all my videos, cleaning the carburetor is like a scientific project, right? Experiment. Make sure your area is clean. And my area is not clean, but I put a bit of clean roll down on the side, and anything I clean will go over that face side down. But you can see on the top of the carburetor here on this emulsion tube, lots and lots and lots of ethanol on there. That's all got to come off. I'm going to remove the float pin. That comes off. I'm going to remove my floating needle. That comes off. It's not been cleaned yet, don't forget. I'm going to grab my screwdriver. Got my Honda screwdriver here, which I made myself, just by shaving down the sides of it. That's going to go into there, and inside here, there'll be a little tiny main jet screw in here. Okay, now just go careful, because they do like to snap on you, especially if they haven't been out for a while. But mine's come out. So you know how much pressure to put on it once you've done it 2 or 3 times, right? But you put too much pressure on it, they just snap, and that's it. Game over. New carburetor, please. Now, I have actually got some spare carburetors for these. My mate Pete Froud, you know Pete Froud? He got COVID at the moment, my old mate Pete. He put me onto Garden Hire Spares, who had some on offer. Emulsion tube to come out. It's a bit sticky. It's right inside there. Let's see, right inside, little tiny brass bit poking up. There it is there. Screwdriver in, push that down, give it a tap, and your emulsion tube will then come out. Right, that's nice and easy. Over here also, we've got another screw here to remove. And just unscrew that one. Take that off, and then just underneath here will be a little tiny slow idle circuit jet, just a screwdriver. Just prise it up with a screwdriver, right? Careful, careful. Now these will have 2 O-rings on them. Do not lose those, and it should be nice and clean in there. So this carburetor is now stripped. This is now ready for cleaning. I'm going to get a quick little blast off with some carburetor spray or pocket rocket, whatever it is you're going to use. Once it's had that, I'm then going to just blast it with my air compressor, just to remove any extra dirt that has accumulated on this carburetor over time. Let me give you a quick little blow off, clean up, and I'll come back to you once I've done so. Right, carburetor has now had a decent blow off. It's looking so much better, right? But this is where the in-depth cleaning now starts. Bit of rust inside there, just a bit of a clean. It's a hole just there. bit of a clean. And anywhere where this comes out, see where that's coming out from there, just reverse it and push that back in there and push it back the other way. So we're going two-way cleaning. In through the main feed through the needle, put a finger over the top, I don't want to spray the camera, back in the main feed, clean that there. Bit of dirt inside there, just sin that. A general clean, a general tidy. Now, slow idle circuit, I say this in every one of my videos, that's your slow idle circuit just there, there's a hole right down the centre, you see it? See that hole? Put it down in that hole, cover it with a straw, see where that's coming out, right through the emulsion tube. But there's also a hole over this side here which you can't see, and this side here which you can't see. If you go into this jet here and push that through, that will then try to jump up through that hole, okay? But there's also a little tiny needle just here, okay, which has been covered with that do not touch, do not tamper bit there. But that needle there, that needs to be fuel going through that. So what you do is you put your finger over that hole just there, okay? Put your finger over that hole and restrict it, and then put that back into that back where it was before, and by restricting that hole, you'll then see, if I can get the spray to come through, you'll see that start to come out of there, see it? Isn't that just a wonderful thing? When you know that's working as it should do. Now that, you need to really clean that, really give it some, right? Clean them holes up. Because there's little things like that which will really, really improve the way in which these carburetors run and work, okay? Put a straw over top of that, give it a little blast out through there. There's not a lot I can do with this rust in all fairness. I can just try and get my drill bit with my wire brush that I had, just try and loosen some of that off. Just try and help it. Because the rust is not going to make it easy. In fact, that's done a brilliant job. Little tiny brush in there. Look how clean that's brought that up. It's got rid of all that rust. So now it's been de-rusted. Get in there and have a right old clean up now. It's good, man. Right. So that's been done. That's one there to do also. And you can see it's coming through the bottom of the emulsion tube. Lovely. We've got a hole down in, where's that hole go? There's a hole in here somewhere. In there. Clean that up. A good tidy up through, and away we go. So that is a carburetor done, dusted, finished, nice and clean. Before we put that down, just get a little bit of blue roll, put it inside a roll. I like cheese and bacon. Put it in a roll, put it to one side, that's clean. Now we can move on to the most important parts of the entire carburetor section, which is actually the main jet. Now this main jet here, there should be a hole in the bottom of it, which there is. But if you look through here, and I'm just going to show you that. Let me try and find a torch. I'll be back to you in 2 seconds. Right, I've got my torch now. This main jet here, I've got a light just behind here. Let me just turn this on. There you go. Right, nice bright torch. Now I'll put that over top. You can actually see, in fairness, I thought that was actually blocked a minute ago. As it is, as it was, I don't know, but it wasn't. Look, it was actually got a hole in there. Right, you actually see that. Let me try and get it a bit better for you. Let me turn that one on. There's a hole in there, I can see it from here through a camera. So there's a hole in there, so we're happy with that. But the chances are, just because there was a hole in the main jet, there still might be some gunk. Now I thought, when I looked for that a minute ago, it actually looked blocked to me. Now I got a feeling there was actually some ethanol sat just on the top of it. Don't forget, where this goes in, okay, the ethanol was in the bottom of the carb, it might have just been sat there. So it might have knocked itself clean, but I don't think it was excessively blocked. But it definitely would have been restricted. So I've got these gas tip file cleaners. You can get them on eBay, Amazon. Gas tip file cleaners. Grab your smallest one that goes through. Sideways pressure. I might go up a size if I can. Yeah, lovely. Right, upper size. Sideways pressure. Clean that one up. See this dirt coming off here? Look, that's all dirt, guys. And then grab your tip cleaner and just run it along the inside facing edge of the top of the jet, right? Because that's where your ethanol is going to sit. It's all going to sit up in there. Run it through again, give it a nice little poke and a clean. Grab an GT85 or whatever it is you're cleaning. Run that through. Yeah, we're happy with that. A general toilet clean. Lovely, that goes in there. Emulsion tube, exactly the same. Anywhere where there's a hole, poke it, prod it, clean it, jet it through. But the emulsion, I don't think the emulsion is actually a problem. It's actually running quite nice, to be fair. You can block some of the holes up just to restrict the flows. Just make sure it's all jumping out all the holes it is. That's nice. The next one to do will be this little tiny kiddie here. Now this is one of the root of all evils, this one. Your slow idle circuit. Okay. Quick little clean, get all the dirt and debris, and then grab yourself some of your pre-purchased thumb drills. Grab the smallest one, and then literally just poke that into there. Now, that is blocked. It's blocked, some resistance and that's going. I'm just poking, and there it is. It's now actually gone in. Okay. We're in, as I say. Now, very, very gently, because these like to snap. Sideways pressure on the inside circumference of the jet. And we're using this drill bit like a file. Just adding pressure to the wall. Now there's a little tiny O-ring just on here. There's an O-ring further up as well. Okay, they need to be in place. If they're not there, you're going to have problems. So sideways pressure, put my drill bit back, because I need that for next time. Get my GT85, clean my thingies, push that through the jet, and you'll see that jump through the hole. There you go. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Now it's working. Put it over somewhere clean. Give that a clean. Bolt can have a bit of a clean. Needle and float. Again, a clean. Just get rid of all the ethanol that's on the float. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Just inspect the top of the needle. It looks to be good. It was holding fuel beforehand, so that won't be a problem. I'm going to wipe my hands down. So that's the carburetor now cleaned. I'm going to reinstate the carburetor assembly back together very quickly for you. I've only been doing that for about 3 minutes or so. So everything needs to be clean, guys, right? We're going to put the slow idle circuit jet back in first. Now that only goes one of two ways. It goes in flat side like that, okay? It does not go like that, right? It's got to go around that way like that. Once it's in, push that down. Grab a little tiny screw. That goes in. Do that up till you've got about 2 or 3 threads hanging out the back of the other side. Because that sets your idle. About there we go. I'm going to turn the carburetor over. I'm going to put the emulsion tube in next. The emulsion tube has a longer end and a shorter end. Okay, it's this end here that goes in first. Stick that in. Main jet goes in with the flathead screw facing up. I'm going to grab my screwdriver. Slowly wind that down, nice and slow. So it's well seated, then just get a little tiny twist. I'm happy with that. All that ethanol has come off the top of there through cleaning process anyway, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to grab my needle and my float, push that into its little tiny home. I'm going to grab my little tiny pin before I put it in. I'm just going to quick a little spray just to try and get any excess dirt off. Now I had just touched my carburetor in the dirty mat. Spray it again. It's all about keeping clean. That goes in, happy with that. My brand new bowl, it's all been cleaned and looking beautiful, goes on. And then just make sure that when you put this on, fuel goes on in this side. So this is the front of the mower. We've got 2 little tiny bolts here. This bolt here needs to be at the front of the mower, okay? We're going to put our bolt in that holds the bowl in place. Touch it down, just settle it so it's in the right place. Do that, grab a 10mm. Don't do it with an impact because you'll snap it. Whiz that up, nice and tight, but just well seated. Don't go mad. Carburetor now done. Back into the blue roll. Nice and clean. I want to drain the fuel out of this machine and see what that's doing. Okay, so now the carburetor's been cleaned. I'm just going to fish this fuel hose round. I just want to try and get my little Chinese takeaway tub in position. I just want to try and just sample this fuel, see what the fuel's actually doing. See what we've got. See if we've got any water in there. That's the main thing. That's what I'm looking for. Looking for water in the fuel system. That's what I'm ideally looking for. Because any water in the system is a bad thing. Now this fuel actually looks to be really, really good. I'm going to take a sample. I'm actually happy with the fuel. I'm very happy with the fuel indeed. It's actually lovely fuel. It's not often you see nice fuel like that. Lock that off. So there's the fuel. No real discoloration. The camera doesn't do it justice. Okay, it is pretty transparent. Okay, so I'm happy with the fuel. If there's any water in there, it would have appeared in the carburetor as well, but it wasn't anything there. So now A little bit of fixing to do. I'm going to get my snips and I'm going to cut the end of this fuel line off just where I believe there's a crack. There is a crack, literally just there. I've just seen it. So let me show you what I've just seen inside this fuel line. If I squeeze that there, where are you? Yeah, there's cracks all in that fuel line. See it? Yeah, nice big cracks. So that fuel line's no good. I can try and save some of it just by shortening it. I'm going to take the worst section out. Let's go a bit further back than that, Micks. Let's go to there. Happy with that. So now, with that removed, I'm going to double check for any more cracks. No, there's not. So I'm just taking a little tiny segment off, that's all. And now I can get my carburetor, which has been sat in tissue. And we can now start to refit the carby back on. First thing to do is to put the choke back on. That sits on there just like so. Tip it round, pull the height control out and just gently manoeuvre the carb in place. I'm a bit stuck at the moment, we're getting there. There's one and there's two. So on goes the choke, just wants a bit of help. There it goes. Move that governor arm out of the way, Micks. That's it, that's all gone in. We can now fit the governor arm back on to where it needs to go, and the little tiny spring on that goes. All into position. Get my little tiny washer. Quick little clean. That goes onto there. I can now reattach my fuel line, which is now has got no clips in it. And when I put that on, I'm just making sure I haven't actually kinked this far into the tank, okay? You don't want to kink that. I can now remove my clamps, move the clip up into position to make sure we don't get no fuel leaks coming out the back of the pipe. That's on there beautifully. Well, that's all on. Make sure the machine's not being choked, which it's not. I can now get my air box, reattach my crankcase breather pipe. It's vitally important. That goes onto there. Don't want to forget that. Crankcase compression. Positive crankcase breather. Right. 2 10mm nuts, which I've probably lost. Haha! Lost my nuts. Has anyone seen my nuts? Okay, put in the comment section if anyone's seen my nuts. I've lost 2 earlier. Right. Put those on. 2 little tiny 10mm. Make sure you don't do it up too tight because they like to cross thread. One on there. One on there. That's all on. Air filter and box back on. That's all on. That's all on. We should be good to go. This lawnmower now should technically run. There should be nothing wrong with it. It should idle. It should do everything it should do. I'm going to check the oil anyway. Make sure we've got plenty of oil in there to run the machine. And if we haven't, I should be topping it up. It's not in for service. It's in for just please get it running. Look at the state of the lawnmower. You know, it's what it is. So let's try and get outside now onto the lawn. And we'll give it a fire up. See if it doesn't now run. If it runs, we're in it to win it. And yeah, nice and simple. So I'll see you outside the lawn in 2 minutes. Right, so here is Aggie's mower. That come in because it wouldn't start or stay running. And it's since had in a previous video a throttle cable repair, which I believe it wasn't choking. And also a carburetor clean now because it wasn't running off of its own back and staying running. So hopefully now it will do. All's okay. We should be good to go. So let's dead man choke it. See what we get. So now it's already running on choke, off a choke. Idles. Revs. Drive work. Drive works. Yeah. So Sue's Mrs. P's friend at work has now got a lawnmower back. I may just adjust that drive. It's got a bit of a judder to it, which means the cable's probably stretched a bit. Let me see. There's quite a bit of give there. Let me see. No, it's engaging. That's fine. So there you go. That's choke. Yeah, I like these SV200s, they're nice. Right, there you go. Can't say fairer than that. Quick little simple fix, how to repair a throttle cable in a previous video, how to clean the carburetor up, get it all up and running and make it look nice. It'll live to cut the lawn another day. Right, so there you go. That's a quick little fix. That is 2 videos. I did 2 videos on it because it came in as a non-running machine, but there was another fault on it and that would affect the running of the machine. So in the previous video I did a throttle cable fix, not replace. As I say, I like to repair my stuff, not just replace, not just put new bits on. I don't agree with that. And in the second video, in this video, I've done a carburetor clean, in-depth carburetor clean for it on the SV200. And the machine now runs, stops, starts, idles, ticks over, does exactly what it should do. So, I'm happy with that. That coffee's cold. I hate cold coffee. So I'm going indoors, get a nice cup of coffee. What's the time? What's your nursery rhyme? Nursery rhyme is 2 o'clock. So I'm going to get a little bit of a late lunch. I might have a bagel with ham, cheese, and pickle, as in gherkins. I quite like. I'll go one of those. And go from there. So that's video number 2. Quick little fix, and Mrs. P's friend Aggie will be super happy about it. Going to cut her lawn today. It's a lovely day, and I expect she'll be itching to get out. She likes a nice lawn, so yeah, happy with that. Good to go. If this is the first time I watch Micks Mowers and Mower, hit your subscribe button, whack the old bell, set notifications to all. That way you'll be notified next time I upload another video, and I look forward to you guys next time Micks Mowers very, very soon. But don't forget, much more importantly, take it easy.